and welcome in another video. In today's video I'm going to show you something quite exciting with which I had quite a lot of fun, which is my very first Linocut. Now, I've never done Linocuts before and I've always been kind of intrigued by this form of prints, you know, handmade prints. I recently was on holidays at my parents in Berlin. A side note, by the way, it's an art supply store in Neukölln, which is where my mom lives, and it's Bösner. And it's the first time I saw my coloring book in flesh, so to speak, in a shop. So I actually took a picture of that because I did not expect it, and especially since it came out 2 years ago. And so, you know, I was kind of accepting that it was kind of dead, but it's not apparently, so I'm very happy about that. And since we're talking about books, I have currently my book about my work, my artwork, that is in pre-sales, and we need to reach 150 copies, and we're just at barely 54 today, so I still need quite a lot of copies. So if you're interested in that, I will link them down below. Anyway, just kind of like a side note, but the Linocut. So I was in Berlin and I went to that art supply store. I always go there. I have quite a fondness for Bösner because that's kind of the first art supply store that, not the first one I went to, but when I was living in Frankfurt, I would go there, and that's where I bought, you know, my first proper art supplies. I remember it was Schminke Academy acrylic paints. Yeah, I have kind of a fondness for Bösner, and so I never miss out on going to that art supply store, even if I don't really need anything. And so this time I went with my boyfriend because he was with me visiting my parents. There were some Linocut supplies on sale or something like that, and he was interested in that as well, and so he was kind of pushing for it. And was like, okay, then, I mean, it's, if you really want to, I'm going to buy that. And it's kind of the first thing almost that I did when I came back. I mean, after some work, but I started to do that because I really wanted to do something creative. As for the gouge, I had some already because I wanted to do wood carving a few years ago. And so I have some really good quality gouges at home. So I just used one of the finest. And I also didn't really check too much online how to work, so I just drew it with a colored pencil and then went for it. But you don't really see where you're cutting. I mean, it's fine, but it's not great. And I've later looked it up online, and you can paint a wash of ink, Indian ink, and so you see what you're cutting out. I'm sure you can use other things. I'm absolutely not an expert. Again, I've done this once, so don't ask me for anything. I have to look into it myself. And then I cut it out, and I used, when I bought the tiny Linocuts, I also bought some Schminke lino printing ink paint, and I used that, and it worked well. I had a lot of fun. If you've been wanting to try Linocuts, I can only encourage you. It's not that expensive. You don't need a press or anything. You can do it by hand. Start with small things and take your time, because when you cut, that's kind of where you want to take your time, because it can go wrong really fast. And it ended up being really good is maybe excessive, but I think it ended up looking really cute. And so I decided to use it for my certificates of authenticity. So they used to be much more plain. So I always take the paint on paper from, so it's Clairefontaine. So this one is, I really like this one. It's also an upgrade. So I used to take the plain white. I also got like different colors to try out. And I like this paper because Clairefontaine is French and it's so cheap. It's no acid, it's good enough quality for certificates of authenticity. For paint, it's all right. I would not really lose my time painting on it, but for certificates it's great. And I'm saying it's an upgrade because this one, the Miska, it's made from grass fibers and it kind of shows, it gives a bit of a texture. And so this specific paper I always use, and I go from a sheet of A4 and then I just cut in 8. And that's how I make the certificates. And then I always paint 2 golden rims all around with some golden paint from Coliro, which is also a German brand, and I can only recommend them. They are absolutely the best gold paint, watercolor gold paint that I've tried. And then I just write everything down, right? So with ink, with black ink, and I use, and that's important actually, you should absolutely use light fast ink for the certificates, because it's a very important document for your artwork. So I always use my usual ink, which is Diatramentis Black Archive ink, or I don't know, one of those that cost 20 euros because they're like super light fast or whatnot. It's actually expensive when you buy them, but when you use a fountain pen, it does take a good year or two to go through a tiny bottle of ink, and I use it a lot. That's the premise. And so with the Linocut, I thought it was just so cute, so I did an upgrade, and now I have a lovely little mushroom on one side, and on the other side the text. So I'm very stoked about it, and I just finished 10 certificates because I have an upcoming show, a local one right now, of 10 paintings. I have 8 on paper, which are mostly watercolors, and then 2 oils on cardboard. All of these I think are on my YouTube channel if you want to see the process. I did some footage of all the paintings because I wanted to be sure to do something with it specifically for this video. For once I did think about having some footage for everything, so that's great. In any case, trying Linocuts was super fun. I hope I can make more in the future, though with time not being endless, I really don't know when. It was really fun for me to tie it with the certificates because, it's a kind of low-key, easy way to make them so much better. And maybe I'm going to make different types of cuts for different type of certificates or something like that. So people, it's kind of like almost a collection of certificates. I don't know, it's maybe weird. But yeah, it was really fun to work on that, and I'm really happy about the local show. I really hope that I will sell a few paintings because I don't want to end on a too sour note, but it's been rough. It's been rough. I'm just very lucky to have savings and a boyfriend, but yeah, it's been rough financially. Artworks just are not selling and haven't really been for 1 year. So yeah, I'm really hoping that I will sell one at least painting, maybe 2. I have a lot of other shows coming up, so I haven't completely lost hope, and I've been trying other things, I have a whole strategy with YouTube, and I want to put again classes on Skillshare, which I really hope I'm going to be able to this month to kind of up my income. But yeah, sometimes it feels like I've never worked as much as right now and earn as little, so sometimes I feel really defeated, but we will see. Let's hope for the best. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope, and now it's raining, I hope the audio is not going to be too crap, but I really hope you enjoyed this video and maybe it inspired you to try out Linocut, and if not, that's fine, you can also just doodle. If you watch until the end, please leave a mushroom emoji, because the mushroom was the subject of my Linocut. Nobody's surprised here. And yeah, thank you so much for being here with me. It always means a lot when I see all these little emojis, especially now. Your comments are what keep me coming and making videos here on YouTube, because the views and so on are not great. But your comments, you're all really kind. So I just wanted to say that it's not for nothing. When you leave a nice comment on someone's video, they read it, it makes a difference. It really does. So thank you for that, and have a lovely day, evening, weekend, and I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye!